Welcome, everyone, to the show. We are here today with actually a really good friend of mine, somebody I've gotten to know over the last couple years and that I work with closely. He's actively involved in my education company, but he's also, for me, just a great real-life shining example of, how real people are embracing these skills, embracing the new economy, and making real radical transformations in their lives to create lives that many people say are almost impossible or sound too good to be true, right? This is not you're not going to go sit down with the guidance counselor at a school and say, well, what can my future look like? And they're going to describe to you, this guy's life or my life. They're not going to tell you about that possibility, but, and the intent, what I'm trying to do with this show and with my YouTube channel and with Entre Nation and just bringing together this awareness that actually in the world we live in, this is how it works for anybody that basically has eyes to see and a mind to open. So with that, let me just waste no more time and bring out my good friend, Singh, who's a world-class affiliate marketer and a good friend. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I appreciate you being here. You and I, we chat a lot. We've been working a lot together lately, collaborating on some projects. You've been a big help to me, kind of teaching me some of the wizardry that you've taken years to come by, and I get to pick your brain, so I'm fortunate that way. But the intent here is to really kind of take modern entrepreneurship or entrepreneurialism. I actually use that term. I kind of differentiate between the two of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurialism, which we can talk a little bit about, but to kind of take it out of the clouds. I think that a lot of the entrepreneurial fascination in our culture has almost like a celebrity component to it. Like we tune into Shark Tank and we think like, what would it be like to be Mark Cuban for a day? Or, we're fascinated with Elon Musk and how he, sells $800 million worth of Teslas in 2 hours during a launch for a car that's not going to be built for 2 years. Or like, we have these stories that were, I get it. Like I think like Brad Pitt's a good actor and he's devastatingly handsome. And sometimes I'll admit I'll do a double take in a magazine that has his cover on it. I'm human, right? But that doesn't move my life forward. It doesn't really help me change anything, right? And so the intent, at least with this episode and a lot of the episodes that I do, is to just pull all this stuff out of the clouds, man. And like, let's talk to the average person on the ground who's got a business or maybe got a job and thinks that maybe life would be different if they ran their own business, and just talk to them about the possibilities of what's really out there that, is not so up in the sky that there's got to be some extraordinary set of circumstances that make it possible for you. And you're a great example of that. So I thought maybe we'd start with, and again, this, we talked about it, this is not scripted and not really that planned. That's what I wanted to have is a real conversation. So maybe tell me a little bit about, like, how do you do what you do, or how did you get into doing what you do? And how did you, out of all the people that were in your situation, and I know a little bit about your backstory, like, why are you the one? Why are you the one auto mechanic? Or why are you the one guy in your town? Or why are you the one guy of all the people you know? Like, why are you the one that got into this when anybody could do it, but most people don't? Maybe that's kind of what I'm trying to get to. But anyway, tell me your story and tell me how you got where you are.
Basically, I used to be a car mechanic, as Jeff said. I was actually pretty good at what I was doing. They had, top 10, techs in our, leaderboards in our company. And I was always hit the top 3 because even though I transitioned to entrepreneurship, I still had a drive. Like, I had goals, they were just different. So, and one thing I did when I was, a car mechanic, I never got comfortable at what I was doing. I always wanted to, explore more things in that industry. So that's another thing I noticed. Not so much different. I guess I didn't like being comfortable. Where a lot of people, they started making money as, like I say, a mechanic. They, after 5-6 years, they're making, say, $80,000, and they're comfortable at that. See, for me, I feel like I feel, I don't like feeling stuck. Like, to me, that is not enough. Like, it's not enough for me.
And you're Canadian. You're a
Canadian.
So $80,000 is like more like 50 or 60 US.
Yeah, like 50. Around 50,000.
Okay.
So what happened to me was I got in a car accident back in July of 2013, and insurance money wasn't paying my bills. It was like half of my income, and it was a joke, really. And insurance is I don't even want to get into that anyway. Right. But so instead of, a lot of people try to milk that. I just don't like, sitting still. So I was like, what else can I do in my situation? So I always gave myself questions on like, what I can do next. Instead of, being a victim, I'm like, okay, I'm in this situation. How am I going to get out of this? Or how do I get better at, something else? And that led me to the internet. It was just a quick Google search, make money online. And I think the first thing I came upon was a course on, it was like affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing. And it taught me the basics. Trust me, I sucked at it for, what was it, 8 months straight, no results. Okay. But I stuck at it because I had no other choice, right? So you were like
homebound or bedridden or convalescing, or so, I don't know if you were like stuck physically in bed, but I mean, you couldn't work and you couldn't really get out much, right?
Yeah. Basically, my back was pretty much injured at that point, so I couldn't do any kind of physical activity other than like physiotherapy, and right. I had to do that 3 times a week. But so I had to find something that was completely opposite of what I was doing, because as a mechanic, you got to be on your feet. Mm-hmm. You're moving, lifting.
You're bending over. You're twisting, like you're tweaking your back every which way, right?
Yeah. So that was my.
I know that from my extensive 5 minutes of experience working on a car one time. So.
I know it can be crazy sometimes, but so I stuck with that for, I think it was 8 months straight, and a lot of people give up so early. Like, if I gave up within a month or two, I wouldn't be where I am today. So a lot of people, I don't know why they give up so soon. Like 2 weeks, they join something, or they get started with something and then they quit. I'm like, you don't know where this could have led you, 5, 6, 7 years down the road. People always think short term. Mm-hmm. And so looking back at this, I was like, that was a blessing for me. Like, I got in a car accident, seemed negative at the time.
Right.
But it was a blessing in disguise, because that led me to online marketing. And in that 8 months, even though I had no results, I still stuck with it. And then in my 9th month, I finally made what I made at my job, but from home. And that was like a complete breakthrough for me. And basically, I never looked back since. I'm like, I even told my boss, I'm like, I'm going to work from home now. I don't need insurance money.
It was your 9th month?
Yeah. 9th month. Like, going at it.
Right.
Like,
that's kind of ironic. I mean, a lot of things take 9 months to be born.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like you're like, people like give up on their baby. It's only been in the womb 3 months. Imagine being pregnant for 3 months and be like, this thing's not coming out. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go get drunk.
Yeah. It's like
that's craziness.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, it's things like this you should always think long term anyway. The average small business doesn't even get into a profit in 3 years. That's stats. So I'm like, even if it took me 3 years, who cares? Because eventually I'll be in a profit. Now I can work for myself. I have no, someone telling me what to do, and I can scale it, where you can't scale your job. You can only get so many raises, and you're
yeah. You and I talked about this on a training we did in the last month with one of our mastermind groups at my company, Entra. We were talking about, and I think I asked you, I said, when you were like one of the top 3 mechanics in your whole company, how much more did you make than the bottom 3 mechanics in your whole company? And I think your answer was like, you probably made like twice as much money, right? With bonuses and overtime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're one of the even top 1% or top 5% of online entrepreneurs in the world, how much more money do you make than the bottom 5%?
Oh, it's huge. I can't even.
It's millions of dollars more, right? I mean, it's like, The bottom 5% doesn't even make money. They just lose money. They just chase shiny objects and blow all their money. Whereas the top 5%, probably makes more than any job this side of a, upper management at a Fortune 500 company. Right.
Yeah.
And 100%. And it's putting yourself in an environment where, if you do the work and you commit to being really good, you get a lot more leverage.
Yeah.
Than having that same mindset in a job. It's to me, it's the fear of like, well, what if I'm not that good? Well, at least at my job, I still get a paycheck. I don't even have to be that good. As long as I show up, I get a basic paycheck. Here, nobody cares if you show up. Right.
Yeah.
So would you say that car wreck, I mean, obviously you're a fit guy. I see your Facebook posts. You're at the gym you and I are both like meatheads and we joke about it and stuff, right? Like we both like to work out. So clearly you've recovered from your car accident. Right?
Oh yeah. 100%. More than recovered.
You're probably in better shape than you ever were, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that said, is that car accident, other than like maybe something like meeting your wife or your kid being born or something like that, is that the best thing that's ever happened to you professionally?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I always tell people that, like, this is why you should never victimize yourself. If there's a negative situation, if you've been asking for it, I have like the whole law of attraction thing. I believe in that. So if you're asking for something else, you're going to get it somehow. You don't know how it's going to come. To me, I believe it was that car accident. I kept asking, this can't be it. I can't be just working 12 hours a day or 10 hours a day. Like there has to be more. There has to be more. This was in my, my mind while I was working there. And one day out of the blue, someone rear-ended me. After what was it? I was in there for 4 years. Yeah, fourth year, someone rear-ended me. And it basically forced me out of that basically I was stuck there in my head. Like,
were you married at the time?
Yes.
Did you have a child?
Yep. I had
two
kids at that time.
You had 2 kids.
Yeah.
So you had some pressure. It wasn't all about just Jesse. And it wasn't going to be okay to just move back in with your parents or whatever.
No, I had a house, I had a mortgage, payments, I had everything. Like,
man, it's crazy. I hear your story and I think about like what you just said. I don't think you said God, but like God or the universe or karma or whatever it is, it gives you, if you're looking for it, it gives you what you need to catalyze whatever shift you need to make. Yeah. For you, it was a wife, 2 kids, a mortgage coupled with being physically disabled, essentially forced to sit there and go, well, what can I do sitting here? And I mean, isn't that the beauty of the internet? I mean, that little laptop right there, I can grab that. In fact, I'm literally in 2 hours, I'm driving to Los Angeles with my wife and we're hanging out in LA for 4 days. I'm still going to be working. I'm taking my computer, and you were forced to not only be exposed to that, but honestly, to make it work. How long did it take your back to heal?
It took me, I wasn't even fully healed when, the night when I had my breakthrough, I was still recovering from it. So was it was like a year? Yeah. Like it was a year.
So if you were going to go back to work at the shop or wherever it was, would that have been a full year of recovery?
Yeah. And I probably wouldn't have been able to make it work because again, I was getting half the income of what I was making. And it wasn't barely like basically the insurance money wasn't even paying for my mortgage. It was like 90% of my mortgage, let alone everything else. So that wasn't an option.
So it's, I think about my story, I was, my story. I mean, I tried to open these restaurants and they failed right in the big recession, 2007, 2008. And I wound up $400,000 in debt, but I had a couple real estate investment properties that was honestly the biggest, because I didn't have kids. I was married, but frankly, my wife and I were kind of like not doing good anyways because she was so pissed at me. but it was honestly, it was these houses that I had worked so hard to acquire a couple investment properties. And I knew that if I declared bankruptcy, they were going to take these houses and then that would be it. I would be totally wiped out. And I was a musician, man. And I was going to be done. I basically would hit reset and spend the next 10 years trying to rebuild my credit, making $40,000 a year as a piano player. And suddenly these businesses failed and I'm on the hook for these loans. And it wasn't like, okay, Jeff, you gotta pay your mortgage. It was like, okay, Jeff, if you don't figure out how to pay off $490,000 in debt, we're going to take everything.
Yeah.
So you talk about the law of attraction, and the universe kind of gives you what you need. For me, the universe gave me something that was so big that it dispelled me of any delusion that I could make it happen by, quote, reasonable means. There was no job that I could go get. There was no rich person whose ass I could kiss. There was no favor I could do for someone. There was no family I could marry into. There was nothing I could do in my life that was normal or reasonable that was going to dig me out of $490,000 in debt fast enough to not lose these houses. And that's what sent me online, with the right level of urgency and the right level of desperation and the right level of intensity to make it work. And, as you know, I paid that debt off in 18 months with affiliate marketing. Same thing you started with, right? For you, it was the mortgage and the wife and the 2 kids and being forced to stay home and not being able to work. And it's funny. That was in 2008 for me. When was this for you?
2013.
2013. Okay.
Yeah.
So I say all the time that my restaurant franchise collapse was the best thing that ever happened to me professionally, because it boxed me into a corner that there was only one way out of. And that one way out was something that was so out there, I'm going to go make $500,000 with affiliate marketing fast enough that I don't get, foreclosed on and my life destroyed. Right.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
It was literally the only shot I had. And so I did it. And for you, so I say all the time, like, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Rock bottom is great, because then you and I like to lift our legs, right? You can push up against a stable floor. So when you hit rock bottom, then you can push up, right?
Yeah.
How do we, and by the way, if you can answer this question, we'll both be billionaires. How do we go out there to the average person and say, don't wait until you hit rock bottom? Just do what we did, but don't wait until you are where we were. Just do it now.
Yeah, especially when you're stable. If your life is stable.
Yeah, think of the advantage you should have. But it seems like actually having a stable life is a disadvantage. Because
people get comfortable, which is what brings them down, right? So they need to realize that you can't get comfortable where you are. Even though you're stable right now, don't get comfortable. You have to always learn and grow as a person. So
I feel like I've spent the last 12 years searching for how to bottle discomfort.
Yeah.
So that I can force feed it to people.
Yeah. It's hard. I think that's the hardest thing, because it's like a brain thing, right? Like, your brain wants to be comfortable. It doesn't want to do anything it doesn't want to do, right? So you always have to acknowledge, it's like you have to acknowledge it and force it. Be like, no, I don't want, if I'm here, I'm not growing.
Right.
Yeah. Like, what was I'm not sure who quoted this. It's like, if you're not learning, you're dying, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You're going the other way.
So let me ask this. Are there any other incidents in your life where you found yourself in a situation where the only way out of it was to really, in a very dramatic way, to transcend your circumstance? Or has it just been kind of slow and steady until all of a sudden you had a car accident and then that was your big moment?
I had little mini versions of this in my life. I was working a minimum wage at this coffee shop, and I was thinking, this can't be it. This can't be it. So I went back to school and I went to college for auto technician, because I again didn't want to. I felt too comfortable there. I wasn't making that much money. It was minimum wage. I'm like, you can't live off of this, and that drove me be like, okay, I got to go back to school, get some new skill sets. At the time, I wanted to be a mechanic, and that's what forced me to become a mechanic, which I was making a lot more than minimum wage at the time. So it was like a mini version of what happened this time. It wasn't as urgent. It's just, I just felt like I didn't feel right being there, which kind of forced me into taking a different, path.
One of the things I've observed about really successful entrepreneurs and sort of creative, non-traditional people, people that do non-traditional things professionally, is there's a little bit of a, I wouldn't call it necessarily like a boom and bust cycle, but I would say like it's a peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like, and I think about my own life, it's almost like if I get too comfortable, I'll do something to sabotage it just to kick my own ass into gear so that I have to transcend and reach the next peak, whatever that is. And I see it in my own life. I mean, literally when I was 17, I dropped out of school to become a professional piano player. But there was a problem, which was I wasn't very good at the piano.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I knew I didn't want to ever have a job. So that forced me to practice for like 10 hours a day for like 2 years while I could still make ends meet and live at my parents' house because they hadn't sold their house yet. But I knew the clock was ticking and the window was closing for me to actually be able to go out and support myself as a gigging musician. And they say it takes 10,000 hours. I literally crammed my 10,000 hours into like 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Because I cut off my other options. We talk about burning your boats, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm wondering is if you feel like you've been a person in your life that's had maybe an above average level of comfort or willingness with burning your own boats to cut off your escape route.
I believe I did. I did because like the average person would just get, like I said, comfortable at what they're doing and they don't care. Like, I'm comfortable. I'm paying the bills. I'm getting by. I'm good. Where I don't like that situation. I'm like, I always want to, get better at something or better myself at least so I can, live a better life. And I think some of the stuff that helped me with this was I used to read a lot of personal development books like Think and Grow Rich and stuff like this, which kind of forced my brain to be like, if you want to be successful in life, doesn't matter if it's a job or not, entrepreneur, you have to do things, different than what the average person does. So
you mentioned Think and Grow Rich. When you were talking about people giving up too soon, I immediately thought of the story at the opening of that book where he talks about that guy, R.U. Darby, who was digging for the gold.
Yep.
And he, I forget all the details, but he dug for years and put all his money into it. And he stopped and he went back east and he sold his concession or whatever it was. And it turned out he had literally been 3 feet from the mother lode vein of gold. And most people don't even get to within 3 feet. I mean, most people don't even get 3% of the way there. And they just, they recoil back to the comfort. And, I do wonder, I'm curious your thought on this. And then I want to talk, kind of about some practical stuff about like, how it really works, what you do. But do you think it's like, is it genetic? Is it conditioned? Is it based on our how we're raised? Or is it something that anybody can have like an aha, like epiphany moment and engage this way of being in the world that says, I'm tired of being comfortable?
I believe every human being has the potential to do it. Like, I don't think it's genetic because my family, like my father is in construction, nothing to do with entrepreneurship, been in construction for 30 years. And that was it. Like, so there was no like upbringing where like, hey, become a business owner. He wanted me to become a doctor, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's like our cultural thing. And funny thing is now I make way more than a doctor. So, but
let me just say that. I mean, I know you, like, you're a pretty unassuming guy. Like, I think it's super cool. You don't wear your bling on your sleeves, so to speak. No. Like you just come off super chill, but people watching this may not really get, like, when we're talking about being a top 1% success as an affiliate marketer, like, we're talking about making many, many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars per year.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about like, oh, I replaced my 80 grand and then some.
Yeah.
I mean, you might do that in a month.
Yeah.
and again, I'm not trying to get you to beat your chest or boast. I just want to condition people here. Like, people think people that are grinding for 60 grand a year, if they think if they get a raise to $65,000 a year, somehow they've come into all this money. And I'm not denigrating hard work and incremental gains, but like when you understand the paradigm of the new economy and what guys like Jesse and myself and a lot of the people that I have on the show, when you understand the paradigm of what we do, it reframes your understanding and your perspective on money. Like, yeah, I had a and that's the thing is that was forced on me because they the universe, and it was my own doing, said, hey, all of a sudden, Jeff, you're $490,000 in debt. And if you don't figure this out in maybe 2 years, because, you get on the phone with creditors and banks and you buy time, and it was the big recession. So they were dealing with a lot of loan defaults and nobody was in a big hurry. But at the end of the day, I only had a couple years to come up with $500,000. Yeah. As a 28-year-old jazz piano player. And it's like, that forced me to add a zero to the way that I thought about money. Yeah. But most people never get forced like that. And so they think that getting a little 2% raise is like a big deal. And I'm not saying it's not, but I'm also kind of saying it's not, Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, I guess I was a little bit of a dreamer compared to like my family. I always thought a little bit big. Like, I was a car guy. So I'm like, I'm going to have a Dodge Viper. My dad's like, yeah, okay. We'll see kind of thing. Right. And like when I got a little bit older, when I was in my 20s, I'm like, I want to make, I don't know, I think my number was, I want to make $100,000 per month because that's what my dad was doing in a year, right? And he was just like, no, that won't happen kind of thing. Like, how are you going to make more than me? I make $50 an hour kind of thing. And I don't blame him because that's how he's been conditioned. But then in 2016, that's where I hit. And I showed, see, I did 100 profit, by the way, not revenue, $100,000 this month, which is more than what you made in a year. You said I was going to do it. But that kind of like forced me to do it. Like I got a little, fired up about it. Because when when people doubt me, I'm like, you know what? I got to kind of prove this person wrong.
Well, that's I noticed your brand is called the Millionaire Drive. And obviously there's a little bit of a twist there because you love cars. And you work on cars. But that's what your story says to me is there's this drive. There's this, whether it's a fight or a hunger or an urgency or for me, sometimes it's fear. Like I'm scared of having an average life. Having an average life terrifies me so much. Yeah. That I'm fight or flight, but whatever it is, man, it's that drive and you've got it. I don't know. Do you know where you got it? Like you said it didn't come from genetics.
No, I think it was certain people in my life. I would say, but actually, I think it was one of my bosses who at the shop was in a network marketing company. I think that's how it kind of started. And he introduced me to all these like millionaires in that company. And I'm like, oh crap, there's a different world out here. So I think that planted seeds in my head, even though I completely sucked at that at the time. I tried it. It was terrible. But like it kind of opened my mind to what is possible. These guys are like, oh, I made $40,000 last month. I'm like, holy crap, how's that possible?
I think you just touched on something, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think you just touched on something that may be important for us to differentiate for the audience. You mentioned network marketing, and I think we take for granted, I think, a lot of things, Jesse. Like, we do this stuff all day. If I talk about affiliate marketing and I talk about e-commerce, like immediately we know those are two totally different things. And like one of them you own the shopping cart, the other one you don't. One of them you handle payments, one of them you don't. One of them you handle support, one of them you don't. Like, we get all that, right? Yeah. But I think a lot of people that are new to this digital economy sort of model, they're like, I don't know. It's just it's just stuff online, right? And I know the answer to this, but I want to hear you answer it. Is affiliate marketing the same as is it like MLM or network marketing?
No, it's not. It's different because first, like in network marketing, most of them, I say 90% of them have like physical products you got to buy up front. And the problem with that is they're usually overpriced compared to the marketplace. Right. And their main, what I found is that the biggest way to make money in those companies is just to recruit other people that buy these big packages. Right. And then they toss them in the garage they're not moving their product. And I think it's good for certain people, like people that know how to, I guess, get out there and not just talk to anybody they feel like. Where affiliate marketing is, you don't buy anything up front. You just have a website, have an affiliate link. When someone clicks that link and goes to that product service, you earn a commission. You're not buying anything up front. So it's kind of...
You're not recruiting them into anything.
No, you're not
buying it so that they can sell it or become a distributor or be part of a team or come to your meeting or anything. They're just a customer. They're just like a guy at a grocery store just buying a head of lettuce or something.
Yeah. For example, I'll give you one thing. Like I have an offer in auto loans. People that are looking for an auto loan for their car, they want to buy a car. Mm-hmm. I send them to that link. They fill out the application. And when they fill out the application, I get paid.
So they're not even buying, they're not even getting a loan.
No, they're not even getting a loan.
They're just becoming a loan prospect.
Yes. I'm just sending them a prospect.
Yeah. So that would be, as a subtle distinction, that's a subset of affiliate marketing that's called CPA, right?
Yeah.
It's cost per action or cost per activity or cost per acquisition. They're acquiring a lead or a customer or an email address or whatever. You don't even have to sell stuff to get paid.
No, that's the beauty of, CPA. It still comes under affiliate marketing because, again, you're not buying anything. It's your link. It's an affiliate link. Anything that has an affiliate link is pretty much affiliate marketing.
It's funny, actually, I wonder if I can pull this up. So, my wife, you're a car guy. My wife has a Tesla, right?
Oh, yeah. Nice.
When you log into the Tesla app on your phone, okay, look, it's the loot box. They got this little box of the app. And so you pull that up and it says, share what you love about your Tesla products and encourage your friends to transition to sustainable energy cars. Anyone using your referral link to place an order gets 1,000 miles of supercharging, and you get a chance to win a Model Y or a Roadster supercar. And you can get $250 if you refer them to solar. It actually used to just be $1,000 when you referred your friend to buy a Tesla. So I'd be like, Jesse, dude, my wife loves her Tesla. Bring out your Mercedes and let's race. And if I win, you got to buy a Tesla. And then you'd use my link and I'd make $1,000. Like, affiliate marketing is so mainstream.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. And I think a lot of people don't realize there's this like fabric that underweaves the economy of, the concept of referral business is as old as time.
Yeah.
All affiliate marketing has done is harness the power of the internet and tracking technology and make referral business something that's a lot more automated.
Yeah. It's a lot easier now.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about, again, my vision for these conversations is I want to like pull this stuff out of the clouds. Like if I had Elon Musk on my, and we're talking Tesla. If I had Elon Musk on my show, when I have Elon Musk on my show one day, I'm probably not going to ask him to describe a day in his life. At least if I do, it's not going to be with the idea that we're really empowering the average listener as to what their life could look like. Right.
Yeah. That's like 1% of the 1%.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, there's too many circumstances that had to line up, and he's a genius guy.
Yeah, he is.
Still too much had to happen. It's like, you're not going to go pull the guy off the street and be like, yo, go create the sustainable energy company movement for the 21st century.
Yeah.
But you can pull the average guy off the street and be like, yo, I need you to meet my buddy, Jesse. He makes 7 figures a year, works out, eats perfectly, hangs out with his family, drives a sick car, and does XYZ every day. That's kind of my point. It's like anybody could do what we do, and yet just most people don't. And I think it's because they don't believe it, or they just haven't hit rock bottom, or whatever the reasons are. But anyway, what I want to ask you right now is like 2 things. First of all, what does the average day look like? And we'll start with answering that, but then I'm going to ask you like, what are the actual things that it takes to do what you do? But let's start with the average day. Like, what's the average day look like for Jesse?
I get up with my kids to, drop them off at school around 8. Then I just have some breakfast, wait a couple hours. While I'm doing in that couple hours, I go, do some email work, check out my I guess my affiliate funnel, see what kind of money they're making, and adjust them slightly. If I'm like, hey, I'm making a lot of money today, I'll up my budget for my ad spend. And if I'm not, I'm like, oh, I got to reduce that. So I just monitor those things.
So it's like pruning a garden, right? You go in and you fluff this up and you cut this back.
Yeah. Once it's set up, it's just like you're just monitoring it. Like scaling it is not that difficult after. Like right now, like one of my offers, I've scaled it. I doubled it from last week. So it was like a brand new offer. I was making 4,000 in a week, and this week I'm heading towards 8,000 because I scaled it up.
8,000 a week.
Yeah, just
on one offer.
One offer.
How many offers are you running right now?
At least 10. 10 offers.
Okay, and they're not all doing 8,000 a week.
No,
but still, people get. I'm trying to give people an idea of the scale of and the possibility of this. It's like
you start with one.
Yeah.
Right. You get to a certain point. Now you know how that works, and you just rinse and repeat. Affiliate marketing is very similar. It doesn't matter what niche you're doing. It's the same steps. Just your. So
let me ask this. Let me ask this. And do you ever feel like? Because I think a lot of people, and I think about like the old school mentality, right? They might hear what you just described, or they might look at what I do for a living and be like, you don't even make anything. You're not even producing anything. Like you're not adding value. You're just a middleman. What would you say to that?
Well, first of all, the biggest companies in the world are affiliates to something, right? Like Amazon has affiliate stuff.
Yeah, Amazon they don't manufacture products.
No, they got nothing. They got a platform.
Uber doesn't own a fleet of cars.
No, it's all digital. So what?
Walmart doesn't assemble bicycles.
Yeah, exactly. They outsource it, or they're leveraging other companies. I'm leveraging other offers, other companies, and they pay me when I get them a result.
Isn't it funny how psychologically you take concepts that are, centuries old, if not millennium old in the physical world, in the offline world, right? Like, people have been merchant traders and sold stuff at bazaars, back in like the medieval times, right?
Yeah.
And then you put the concept on the internet, and suddenly people are like, no, that sounds like a scam, or that must not be real, or there's no value there. Like it's a weird prejudice. Yeah,
it is. And the funny thing is, you can be an affiliate for a physical product.
Totally.
Like you want, like for example, protein. Like you're gonna go to the store and buy protein. If you know how to set everything right, why not get paid to sell it indirectly? Like just go through your link, they buy a protein, you get paid.
Yeah,
a percentage.
Yeah, it's funny. And so, I say that again. It's not like I'm trying to convince you. What I'm trying to do is shine a light for people on the absurdity of the preconceptions and the prejudices.
Yeah.
Because it's not hurting us. Like if they don't believe that internet stuff is real or they can do it, it doesn't change what you have for dinner. It doesn't change what I have for dinner, but it definitely changes what they have for dinner. It's hurting them.
Yeah.
Anybody watching this who's like, no, this can't be real. I can't do that. It's hurting you. It's hurting your family. It's hurting your kids. I have a 3-year-old girl. I'm home with her every day.
Yeah.
She's going to grow up with a level of certainty and confidence in her male relationships based on the fact that her daddy was with her every day as a baby.
Yeah.
It's
huge.
There's no moral victory in doing it the hard way.
No. And the funny thing is, it was not funny, but going forward into the next 10, 15 years, people's jobs are getting replaced by either robots or some kind of automation, computers. Mm-hmm. I went to Walmart the other day, and before they used to have like 20 aisles of cashiers. They got rid of most of them. I think there's only like 5 now, mm-hmm. and the rest are self-checkouts on both ends, like 20 machines on this end and 20 machines on this end. So their jobs are getting replaced by self-checkout machines.
I did an interview with a guy on this channel several weeks ago who used to be a pharmacist. And he said when he started in pharmacy, it was a 6-figure job. And the expectation was that he said he was really good and he wrote 400 to 500 prescriptions a day.
Yeah.
By the time he got out of pharmacy, and now he runs a cryptocurrency or a blockchain education company, like totally cool. But by the time he got out of it, the expectation, the bare minimum was that you wrote 1,000 prescriptions a day and it paid the same or less. The reason is because even though technology isn't replacing pharmacists, it's doubling their capacity or tripling their capacity, which means you only need half to a third as many of them.
Yeah.
So it's not like pharmacists are, because some people might hear that and go, well, they're never going to replace my job. No, they might not, but they might be able to let half of you go because technology doubles what's expected from those of you that are left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, I think people, this willful ignorance of like, no, I'm going to do it the hard way and I need to only operate business wise in the offline world. I think it's a tragedy and a travesty. And it's, you know, I think it's this, you know, whatever, I go off on a tangent about it, but I mean, the educational system is clearly so slow to come around to this. That's frankly, that's the opportunity for us to, as educators. But it's really a shame with the way kids aren't being told about this stuff. So let me ask this is kind of the last thing I want to talk through. Like from a, you know, when you were an auto mechanic, I assume you had like your tools.
Yeah.
Did they supply you with your tools or did you have your own tools?
I had to buy my own tools.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I know. Like tradesmen that do that stuff, your tools are like, it's like your pride and joy. Like if you get fired, you take your tools.
Yeah.
And you go find a new place to set up your camp with your tools, right?
Yeah.
And so what are your tools now?
Digital, I guess, digital forms of tools but
I mean, at a real like granular level, like you mentioned emails. You have a system that sends out emails, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask what email system you use?
I use Aweber.
Super standard. That when I got started in 2008, one of the first things they told me was sign up for an Aweber account. Yeah. Aweber, I think at the time there was a free or $1 trial, and then it was like $19 a month.
It's still same thing. I think it's $1 for I'm not sure if it's 14 days or 30 days, and then it's $19 a month. So
$19 a month. So obviously you track your links.
Yeah.
Somehow, do you have software for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that software? If something's proprietary, feel free to not answer. I use give people an idea of the requirements.
I use a few. It depends on what it is. One is like a more advanced one I use is called Funnel Flux, and the more basic one I use is Click Magic, like something.
Oh yeah, I've used Click Magic, and that's again like $20 a month, I think, for the basic.
Yeah. So the tools, the digital tools, are way less than my physical tools I had.
You probably used to have to pay what, $80 for a wrench?
Yeah. So my toolbox had probably around $50,000 worth of tools.
In fact, there's entire businesses like I think of Snap-on Tools, Matco Tools. They just literally drive vans around and sell these high-priced tools to mechanics on jobs. Yeah, they come. Yeah, they used to come every week. Right. This is the latest tech, the latest tool to hit the market. and so you're talking about so far. We're at $40. I mean, and the platforms where you get the links. You sign up, you get your affiliate links, or the CPA network. You get your links. Those are free. Yeah, those are free. Right. So then basically at that point it's just I got to get people to my links. Yeah. And that's the majority of the cost, right? Yeah, so like the cost of traffic. So yeah, whether you're running paid traffic or if you're ranking assets, ranking videos or ranking blog posts, you might have to pay for some backlinks or pay for syndication or something, right? Yeah, like for example, Walmart, they have traffic. It's physical traffic. People are walking into their store. We just have the digital version of that. We have eyeballs, people looking for these products, and we send them to our offer. So kind of the difference though is if Walmart's closed for a month, they still got to pay the rent. Yeah. But if you leave town for a month and for whatever reason decide to turn your ads off, what's your cost to technically stay in business? It's Click Magic and Aweber? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And some kind of capture page tool, which is it ranges. I use a bunch, so anywhere between $40 a month to $100 a month. So like a lead pages or ClickFunnels or so I mean honestly people can build this for free with WordPress as long as they pay for hosting. $10 a year worth of hosting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. It's like
the actual overhead is almost next to nothing. When I say, oh, I made, $100,000 a month, that's profit. My
Right.
overhead, I think I'm paying just like the basic tools without paying traffic. It's probably like $400 or $500 a month at most. So that's a huge ROI when I
It's
think
so
about it.
crazy, man. I mean, and I know I'm laughing. It's like I do it too. It's just
Yeah.
so crazy. Like, why did we used to make things so hard?
I was thinking a long time ago, my family wanted a franchise. It was a coffee company. I don't know if you heard of Tim Hortons.
Oh yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
Starbucks of Canada, right?
Yeah, so it's so super
Yeah.
popular. So they wanted $500,000 up front, and their monthly, I guess, auto ship, like network marketing, auto
Right.
ship, minimum was $40,000 a month expenses,
Hmm.
and you would not make a profit in 3 years. So it'll take about 3 years, and their profit margin after the 3 years was 12%. So you did $3 million in sales, you might make $300,000. But look at all the people that you got to look after, like all
Yeah.
your employees, their benefits, and the tax work in that. It's just crazy, right? So I make more than a Tim Hortons franchise owner, like,
You
and
probably make
I'm
more in a month than a Tim Hortons
yeah,
franchise owner from a single franchise makes in a year,
yeah,
I would
yeah,
guess.
yeah,
So, so I mean, and here's the thing. I think people hear this and like, oh, it's just more big chest thumping claims, and it's not that. I think it's more about just creating a perspective shift. And unfortunately, in this world, there's only a few things that get people's attention.
yeah,
Like really, there's maybe only two. It's like sex and money.
yeah,
Maybe violence. I don't know if you like stab somebody on camera, they'll pay attention or something. But you usually, and you and I aren't very sexy, so we're not going to get them with that. So we kind of got to like get people's attention. I talk about I've generated over $40 million in sales now since 2008. Like you just got to like get people to go, wait, what? Attention, interest, decision, action. But now they're paying attention. It's like, no, it's not about bragging about the money. It's about understanding there's a different fundamental set of economic realities when you're not having to transact all your business dealing with physical space.
yeah,
That's really and or the transfer of physical products, right? Remove logistics, even Amazon. I mean, even if you're shipping physical products, you look at the logistics of Amazon's model versus the retail distribution model with all the stores.
yeah,
You're still eliminating so much logistical friction by shifting to at least a hybrid online offline model.
yeah. No,
And so I think we're the evangelists here of a very, very necessary bit of good news, which is that if you will buy into and embrace this technology and the way the world has changed, if you're in any sort of business, A, you won't get left behind, B, you'll make more money, and C, you'll have more control over the quality of your life.
yeah, yeah.
And that's at least, I can say that's why I do what I do. So let me end, if I could, with one question. Is this something, you were thrust in a position where you basically were given the opportunity and responsibility to do this full time.
Yeah.
Right. I was kind of put in that same position because my debt load was so big that there was nothing else I could do that would even realistically chip away at it. But to the average person who's like, well, I'm not going to quit my job, and I'm not going to, or maybe I just bought a Tim Hortons 6 months ago, and now these assholes are telling me that I made a mistake, but I've got a $400,000 bank loan now. Like, to the person who's not ready to or able to burn their boats, is this something that they can start with realistically, part-time, flex time, whatever? And if so, how much does that really take?
This is the beauty of online marketing. Like, you can, I believe, if you put in at least an hour or two, maybe at most a day, you can start, building momentum and slowly start making some, the money will start coming in. Obviously there's going to be some trial and error, but nothing crazy where, even if you got a Tim Hortons franchise, you got to go in for 3 months and get trained anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. And plus you won't be paid in 3 years. So with this, I believe, you could start making money, if you follow instructions well within a couple of months, maybe. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be.
Yeah, and so for you, you said it took 9 months.
Yeah.
But you also had, tell me if I'm wrong, but you had a certain threshold you had to get to before it could make an impact.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Like you had to make maybe five or 10 grand a month, or else you might as well not be making any money because it wasn't solving your problem.
Yeah. And plus back when I started, there was no Entra where, people, Entra where he educates you properly.
Right.
It started where I had to connect all like hundreds of dots because they weren't making sense. And I had to slowly just piece it together. I didn't have any step-by-step way of doing it which that's why it took the time, right? Where like the advantage for people nowadays, especially with platforms like Entra, is like you can just get started. Everything is laid out for you. And all you have to do is follow instructions and then take action on that.
Well, first of all, I want to state for the record, that was not a pre-scripted plug that Jesse just gave for Entra, but I appreciate it. And certainly it does speak to, our mission, which is, like you say, to sort of de-obfuscate, demystify the step-by-step of like how these business models work, because nobody expects, if you're going to go out and be like an electrician, nobody expects you to, crawl under a house, open up a circuit panel and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were taught, right? And so, like you say, I mean, there's this gaping need in the world for education on how this stuff works.
Oh, 100%.
Right now, people are they're shocking themselves left and right for purposes of the metaphor, right?
Yeah. You go on YouTube and it's information overload. You don't know what to follow. Like this person, like, oh, you can make $100 a day like this. But they're like, another person's like, no, that's not the way to do it. This is how you do it. And you just get pulled in so many directions and you end up doing nothing. Right.
Yeah.
So you need something that just like puts your blinders on. Like, go through this like this, take action, record your results. Not getting your results yet, tweak it, get back at it until you make it work. And it will eventually work. You just have to, like I said, you got to put in the time.
And you think about it. What if it took a year for someone to make $500 a month?
Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
no, that's $6,000 a year. Don't you know a lot of people who work really hard for a year, putting in extra hours at their job to try to get a $6,000 raise?
Yeah, and that for them, that's huge. $6,000 raise.
Totally, right?
Where you can do this online, a couple hours a day, an hour a day out of your time, and you can scale it if you want. That's another thing that raises don't let you do.
Yeah, raises do not let you turn them up.
No, like, oh, I got $1 an hour. Whoo. $8 a day.
Yeah, and now maybe in 6 months you can get another $1 an hour.
Yeah.
Whereas here, and that's the thing I love about internet, and it's not to just belabor the point, but like once you get it working, you turn it up.
Yeah.
There's no other medium in the world that's like a faucet.
Yeah.
Once it's working, you can't. If you buy a rental property and you engineer everything, and I own rental property. I love rental properties. I like that's the long game, right? But I can't get a rental property generating $300 a month in positive cash flow and be like, all right, sick, I'm going to turn this thing up to $3,000 now.
Oh, it's a lot harder.
You can't do it. You got to go buy another $300,000 property to get it to $600 a month.
Yeah.
This, you just bump your ad spend up.
Yeah. Like the goal is if anyone had, if you had the ability to spend $1 and make $2, think about that. Wouldn't you spend like $300 a day to make $600?
Mm-hmm. Now, to be clear, there's a point of diminishing returns. You can't spend $3 million a day to make $6 million a day.
Yeah.
Because there's a finite amount of market supply for anything, because you have competition, you have targeting and certain keyword, whether it's, depends on the modality, but whether it's keyword based or video based or whatever, there's only so much to be had. But if you're at 100 a day, you can usually get to 200. You can usually get to 500. You can probably get to 1,000.
Yeah.
Probably get to 2,000. And then if that's the cap, great, go find the next thing.
Yeah. And then you can let that run.
Leave it running.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you let that run. Now you build up something else. So similar steps, maybe a little bit different ad copy, like a little bit different wording, because it's going to be something different. And that's about it. Similar funnels, you're done.
So
I make
anyways, I know we could talk about this all day, and
Yeah.
we very often do. But I hope that what this has given to people is a real window through which, like some clear glass through which to view this life and this possibility, right? Like, this is no bullshit. This is no hype. We're not even selling anything here, right? Like, in fact, let's not sell anything here. Let's just leave it at, this is the truth of what's possible.
Yeah.
And just leave it at that, that this is out there for people. And if one person sees this video and it opens their eyes, I don't care if I get 1,000 thumbs downs on this video. If one person sees it and they're like, I just wasn't sure before, but now I believe, and now I'm going to take steps in that direction. 5 years from now, that could be the parent that's home with his kids or her kids,
Yeah.
5 years from now, that could be the parent that's able to take care of their parents who get sick. 5 years from now, that could, it's like, if we reach one person, this has been time well spent, man. I hope you feel the same way.
No, I do. 100%.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we covered everything. Just this is not, magic. This is possible for anybody. I was a car mechanic. I had no skills in internet marketing, but people have a brain and they have the potential to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
Like in anything else, right? So I just think anyone can do this as long as, you take it seriously and take action and don't give up, more importantly.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well said, man. Well, I appreciate your time, Jesse. If somebody wants to come find more about you, where would you send them?
Find me on YouTube by just Jesse Singh. Probably if you search that, you'll see.
Yeah, we'll actually put a link. Since this will be on YouTube, we'll put a link in the description to your channel.
Awesome. Thanks,
Cool.
Jeff.
All right. Hey, everybody. You heard it here. Jesse Singh, millionaire, affiliate marketer, and great friend and great dude, and also a real animal in the gym. You should follow him for that too. I'll pump you up. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks,
and
Jeff.
Thanks, Entre Nation. We will catch you next time. Take care.